Andy, one tip to the 30 customers who buy this car and want to drive those kind of speeds. Go. What's up guys, Supercar Blondie here at the home of Bugatti here in Molsheim. Behind these doors is something really special. We have an exclusive here on this channel. Come with me. Okay, we're through the first door. Behind this door is the world record breaking car. This car just broke the 300 mile per hour barrier, and here it is. First time on any YouTube channel in the world, right here. Make sure to subscribe, Supercar Blondie. Be part of the family. This is where we get access to the craziest cars in the world. Let's open her up here. Here she is. And the name of this car is the Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus. Makes sense. It's exactly what it's just achieved. Come in, come in. You might be wondering why it looks dirty, right? I mean, look at all these flies all over the front of the car. They've done that on purpose. They want to leave it like this in its original state. This is how it achieved the world record. And what they're actually thinking of doing is putting PPF over the top of the car to preserve the flies. I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, it hasn't been cleaned. It's all on purpose because this is the moment. They really want to preserve that single moment in history where the first ever production car or pre-production car broke through that 300 mile per hour barrier. Come take a look at this interior here. Right, so you'll see there's only one seat in here. The passenger side has been fully stripped down. It has all of these kind of measurement instruments in there. There's a roll cage, you can see here, full steel roll cage. Now, there are a lot of people saying online, well, this world record doesn't count because it doesn't look like a production car. It doesn't have the second seat, it has the roll cage, it's fully stripped down there, and the passenger seat, etc., etc. The only reason why they have removed the passenger seat and put in a roll cage is for safety. No one has done this speed before in a production car. This exterior, what you see here, is all 100% going to be what is delivered to the customer. 30 of these are going to be made, and as you see it now, every single detail on the exterior, this is how it's going to be delivered to the customer. So this is the W16 8-litre 1600 horsepower engine, and this is 100 horsepower more than the standard Chiron. Let's get the guys, let's chat to them about how this all went down.
So guys, last time when Alex was here, unfortunately I couldn't offer her any champagne because she was gonna drive the 1500 horsepower Chiron. Today she won't be driving, so we're gonna surprise her with a very special bottle. It's a Magnum Champagne Cambon bottle, and we have 2 glasses, so we're gonna play a good trick on it right now. Alex, yeah. Come here.
What is this?
So last time I was unable to offer you any champagne.
Oh my God!
You were gonna drive our car, so
that
I
is so awesome.
Please hold this.
What?
We have a special bottle, carbon champagne for you.
Oh my God!
It's a Magnum.
Are we gonna finish the bottle? Is that the plan?
It's all up to you.
This is so awesome. Wow, look at this. So this is actually carbon fiber?
It's a glass bottle
with carbon fiber
wrapped with carbon fiber.
What? That's amazing. Bugatti labeled champagne. Here, standing with the world record breaking car.
There you go.
Oh my God! Oh, what service? It is Frank, everyone. Hello. No introduction needed. Frank is the star of this YouTube channel. He is the Deputy Director of Design at Bugatti. Massive congratulations.
Thank you.
Just had a promotion.
Thank you.
Congratulate Frank. Hit those comments. He'll be reading them later, won't you, Frank? No, not really. He won't be reading them. He's not online. Let's talk about this car. You are, along with your team, of course, it's teamwork, but you guys are responsible for the look of this car, for the exterior.
That's right, that's right.
Obviously, the aerodynamics are a massive factor.
It's very important. Yeah. Basically, an experience for over 10 years of doing these cars that are capable of going beyond 400 kilometers an hour have gone into this car.
Yeah.
So right from the start, we knew a lot of things, how to put them so that the car could actually exceed now 300 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we got the briefing from the board that we wanted to create a car to go beyond 300 miles an hour, it became apparent from the start that something needed to be done to the drag of the car. So that's why the long tail came on.
Should we start back there?
Yeah, let's start on
So
here.
this is the most, I suppose, drastic change that you can see initially when you look at this car is the length of the tail. How much longer is this actually than
This is about 10 inches longer or 25 centimeters.
Why is it so important to make the car longer to, combat that kind of drag?
It's mostly about two things. First of all, you want to attach the airflow, we call this laminar airflow, for as long as possible onto the body of the car, and then have it tear off in a very defined edge.
Okay.
So that's what this little ducktail spoiler is for. And you want to shrink down the area of tear off on the rear of the car. So you want to get this area where the airflow separates from the car as small as possible.
Okay.
So this is about 40% smaller than the standard Chiron.
Okay.
And that's a major improvement in aerodynamics. As you may know, in aerodynamics, it's never that one thing that you find that saves it all.
Yeah.
It's a lot of little details that add up to the result. Having said that, the fascinating detail about this is that the long tail actually created most of the improvement, actually.
Right.
So
This is a wing here, isn't it?
this is still a wing, but this is the wing of the Chiron. This Chiron has the same wing, but the concept here is to try and keep the wing in for the top speed run.
We've just discussed these exhausts with the 110. They look the same. Is it exactly the same? Or?
That's right. To be honest, the development of this car has been progressed a little bit more than the 110. So these exhausts we had first developed for this car. But nevertheless, everything that we learned on this car also goes to the 110, which actually has the same engine, 1600 horsepower.
Right.
Is this engine as well? So that kind of made sense to get what we learned on this car and put it also on the 110.
Oh, that's interesting. You've got this design feature here. The holes as well on the 110. Obviously, it doesn't look like this and they're up the back. But that's interesting that it kind of carried through into this design as well.
That's right, yeah. It's a combination of both air outlets here on the front fender, actually, to relieve the pressure from the wheel wells. We bent the front radiators into the wheel wells, and from there we want to relieve the pressure. Otherwise, it would push the car up in the front, and at 300 miles, it's the nervousness that you don't want. You want to have it stable. Is
there a reason why they're round, for example, and not straight?
We could have put louvers, but it's such an iconic shape to have these holes, right?
Yeah.
It's it could be inspired by a rocket launcher as well. It's kind of cool detail that we like to put on the car. So now here it's 9 holes, and it serves the purpose of exiting air. Whether on the 110 it's 5 holes and it takes air in, right?
Takes air in. But this is more aggressive here on the lights, isn't it? This comes down a little bit.
That's right. The actual headlight is the same as on the Chiron. The eyebrow is more inclined now, is lower on this point, and that's what gives it this kind of more aggressive look.
Aggressive, yeah.
And it's counterbalanced with this movement here.
This is also new. This
is also new. It's also a killer feature that it's really...
The killer feature. I knew that'd be one.
This is really the feature that makes the air go around the corner in a way that you need to go 300 miles per hour.
When customers get this car, will this be standard? The orange stripes? what's
Well,
going on?
there
with
will
the
be
car?
30 cars,
Yeah.
right? And they will be configured like this.
Okay.
This is what we call the world record spec. And if you look back at our history, the Chiron Super Sport was the first to introduce the visible carbon fiber plus orange.
Right.
So we thought about our customers and their collections. If the car like a Chiron Super Sport is in their collection, and this would sit next to it, they would give a nice pair. So that's why we stuck to the orange.
Guys, this is so exciting. Look who I have with me, Andy. Andy is a Bugatti test driver, and he is the man who broke the world record. Oh my, look at this little grin. That is so exciting. I've got so many questions for you.
Fire ahead.
How does it feel going over 300 miles an hour? I mean, how does, like you're one of the only men in the world who have driven this fast in a production ready car.
Right.
How does it feel?
Well, I could give you two answers. I could give the answer that most people want, which
Yeah.
is, oh, it was great. Yeah, there I was.
We don't want that
there
one.
doing 300 miles
Yeah.
an hour. But to be honest, it's a lot more difficult than that.
Were you shit scared, Andy?
Yes, being a little bit nervous of it probably helps. It sort of focuses.
Heightens your intuition,
it
etc.,
does.
etc.
It's
So-
a massive task though to actually achieve something like this. You know, everything on the car that you think is linear. You know, let's say speed. You
Yeah.
think of speed as a linear measurement, but I can tell you that's absolutely not. And you probably know yourself. You've driven lots of fast cars. 150 miles an hour is quite quick,
Yeah.
but you step it up a bit more, even another 30 miles an hour,
Yeah.
it feels a hell of a lot faster than one
In the run-up, in your tests,
during the test. Yeah.
what number did you get to before you actually went all the way to 300?
But you have to validate every step.
Yeah.
So the first step is 250, which in the Bugatti is nothing, of course. But you have to do, well, actually first you do a 70-kilometre run, so there's virtually no aero effect on the car. You're measuring the loads on the suspension and
Yeah.
therefore the weight pushing down. You then do a 250 run for 10 seconds.
And you're talking about kilometres here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a 300 for 10 seconds, then a 350 for 10 seconds. So you've got that data in the bag,
Yeah.
you come back, and then you spend a lot of time looking at all the data. So you can follow this through until you get to 450 is the last one you can do constantly for a long time. So 450 is pretty
okay.
quick. So you hold that for 10 seconds, you've gone a long way.
Yeah,
You've really
yeah, yeah.
have. So,
How far do you go actually at 450 in 10 seconds?
well, at top speed, it's a kilometre in 7 seconds. Roughly, so
Okay.
36.60 metres per
Yeah.
second. So it's you're travelling.
You're going places.
So you get that
Yeah.
last data set at 450, well, 400 and 450, and then very clever people sit with computers
Yeah.
and they say, okay, when we get to roughly 500, this is what will happen.
How did you get nominated to actually sit in this car and go for the world record? Because there are other Bugatti test drivers. How did that come down to you?
Well, all I know from how it happened with me, I got a phone call and said, can you come to my office, we need to discuss something. And we sat
Something
down.
small.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they said, listen, we're going to do a Chiron Super Sport 300 plus, and would you like to drive it? So
And you were just like, yes please, that's awesome.
yeah, I mean, I said yes quite soon, and then after I left, I was walking around and thought, what did I just do? You know?
Yeah. If someone tries to attempt the same thing, because we now know the car is capable of doing that, what's the difference between, just any Joe getting in behind the wheel and someone like you?
One thing we haven't spoken about this speed, because all these things happen and get worse and worse with speed. One of them is just the physical speed that the wheels are turning when you get to that speed. I think at 450 everything's manageable.
Right.
When you start to go more than that, this spinning effect on the wheels, there is a gyroscopic effect to it, and which obviously gets worse as the square of the speed as it increases. So if you pick up a gyro or a spinning top when you were a kid,
Yeah.
and you pick it up and it's got a bit of a mind of its own, hasn't it?
Right.
If you actually pick it off the ground, you can feel some forces. Or if
Right.
you've got something spinning in a box and you put it'll move. You can move it, and when you move it, it continues moving. And so, though the wheels are having that effect, so you're driving along and you're trying to stay straight.
Yeah.
If you're going slightly off course, which you will be, when you put some input into the steering to bring it back, it'll respond to what you have asked for, but it won't
Stop.
self-center. Yeah, it won't stop. It just
You'll
keeps
just
going.
keep going.
Yeah. So you need to make a reaction or an action to stop you going out of the line.
Right.
And then you need a another action,
subsequent reaction to that one.
to that one, and so on. And you can, and it just gets to the point where
So
you're always
you're constantly correcting
Yeah.
left to right, left to right.
right, and then throw in this 136 point something meters per second. Everything's happening really quickly.
Wow.
The most minuscule adjustments to the steering wheel make a huge difference, and then you add this gyroscopic effect. It's really quite a lot of work.
Andy, one tip to the 30 customers who buy this car and want to drive those kind of speeds. Go.
Never drink and drive.
Yeah, that's a given. Yeah.
What you would do is you just build up to it. So go 350, go 360, go 370. Don't do it all in one jump.
Yeah.
And you'll sort of migrate with the speed, and you'll migrate your experience in the right direction, so that when you arrive there, you'll have some idea of what's going to happen. Even I went to the test track the first time I drove this at 420, and just go 420. It's actually, wow, that's fast.
Yeah.
It's from 380. So if you try to go immediately to 490, you'd probably completely lose it. So
I just
do it in
can't
stages.
imagine, Andy. It's like we're only talking about differences of 20 kilometers an hour, but it is a massive jump in the feeling, right?
It
that you
is.
get.
And that's why I say it's not the linear measurement that it
Right.
looks. It really isn't.
Let's talk about how you prepare the track that you drove on for the world record breaking moment. What goes into that beforehand?
So before we did any running at all, a whole lap of the track is about 20 kilometres.
Okay.
So we had a couple of guys with a machine with these large mats that they sometimes use at airports,
Yeah.
which basically sweep and clean and pull all of the bits and pieces that could be on the track, little stones, bits of tree,
Yeah.
and they're all vacuumed away.
What goes into a tyre then to go these speeds, Andy?
Well, what we did, we used a standard Chiron tyre,
Yeah.
Michelin Pilot Cup 2, but what they did do is took all of the tyres we were going to use and spent quite a lot of time x-raying them and analysing the x-rays just to be sure there are absolutely no defects.
Okay. So they're just standard Michelin Pilot Cup 2 tyres?
They
Nothing
were,
else
yeah, as far
were
as
done
I-
to
yeah.
them? This is it. Wow,
So-
this
so-
is where you were sitting.
So as I said, I apologise, I left a lot of my
A
sweat
lot of
in
sweat.
there.
Yeah, it's a bit sweaty in here.
But
Everything. You left everything, Andy. You didn't even clean the car afterwards.
No, I didn't. You're right.
No, it's quite cool actually. They've done that on purpose just so you can get that experience and see that the car really did this. Like all the bug splatters here are still on the car, on the windshield, all down the front. And this is pretty much how it was when you were driving it, but you
Yeah.
also had lots of different measurement boxes or
Exactly.
what was
So
going on?
You see there's no passenger seat.
Yeah.
The reason for that is that actually there were quite a few laptops balanced on top of there that
Right.
have gone, but there's a lot of electronic control boxes and basically data recording equipment.
Okay.
Because you need to record everything.
Yeah,
we
of
have
course.
a telemetry system beaming that back, but you need to record everything as well.
And
Not
the-
just your speed, but all the data. The weight of the car makes no difference to the top speed. Why? Because in the end, what the problem is basically drag.
Yeah.
So the drag is what controls the top speed. So, okay, the weight will affect the acceleration.
What's important just to point out is even if this did have a second seat, right? We got rid of all of the equipment to measure what was going on. It wouldn't have made any difference to the top speed. It could have had a
No,
second seat in
no,
here.
it won't make any
You would have
difference at
still
all.
been able to do that
No.
speed. Okay.
No, and the reason obviously this is all in for safety
Safety,
reasons. And the
yeah.
same with the seat, with all the side protection. It's just, we're going into an area where we're pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just need to, I'm not sure what would happen if you had an accident at that speed.
I'm not sure anyone would have volunteered to be the passenger either,
No,
even
no.
if you had a second seat in here.
Absolutely no.
No.
way.
How different is this car to drive to, say, the standard Chiron?
You just notice that when you get up past 400, it just keeps on accelerating and accelerating because the drag is less, and in the end, the drag is what's holding you back.
Yeah.
You can give a car, let's say, another 100 horsepower. You'll only gain a couple of kilometres at that top end speed because of the drag.
Right.
If you reduce the drag by a few points, you
Right.
go a lot faster.
So it's not about the increased horsepower, it's about the design of the body. It's about the aerodynamics really that
Yeah.
take you to those extra
Yes.
kilometres an hour.
That's
Yeah. It's a mess, mate. It's a mess. How many flies did you kill?
Yeah, everything. In fact, you know what? I
was trying to count them. 1, 2.
I remember them cleaning the car regularly. Every time I came in, they cleaned the screen, but I got a feeling they cleaned some other pieces too.
How many rounds did you go on the track to reach the top speed, by the way?
So what you do, you leave the parking area,
Yeah.
And then, because you did runs before, you'll have some heat soak. You then set off on a complete lap, 20 kilometres,
Yep.
at 200 kilometres an hour.
Okay.
So basically, for a Bugatti, it's just sleepwalking. So,
Yeah.
and you get everything to stabilise,
Yep.
and this is the interesting part actually, because then you come up to the final banking before the main straight.
Yeah.
And as you arrive there, that's when you get the sweaty hands, because you know what you've got to do. So as you're coming towards the last banking at 200, you sit there at 200, you go up onto the banking, and you know as soon as you exit it, this is it. This is what's going to count.
Yeah.
So going around the banking, I actually knocked it down 3 gears into 4th, and then Michelin has given me the okay to go a little bit faster than the 200 that they normally mandate on the banking.
Okay.
So I went a little bit quicker, and
Yeah.
in fact, looking at the data, I think it was 265 when I left.
Just a little bit
Quite
quicker.
a bit more.
Yeah.
So you nail it on full. It had already shifted to 5th actually before I left the banking. So on the flat, and then you've got this 8.8 kilometres. And I just sat there pinned.
So 8.8 kilometres you did to be able to then get up all the way up to.
That includes the slowing
490.
down speed too.
Okay.
So it's 8.8 in total.
We have a lot to celebrate, don't we?
This is the car.
This is the car. Congratulations.
So thank you very much.
Bugatti, you guys rock. Love you guys so much. Give us a quick thumbs up on the video. Give us a comment. Check Frank's new YouTube channel out that doesn't exist
I
yet,
have a
but it's
YouTube
coming.
channel? Why?
It's coming. Quick, hurry! You gotta,
I
you
didn't
gotta
even know about
create
it.
content, man. All right, like the video, subscribe to the account if you haven't yet. Supercar Blondie. Click that button right now. This is where you get to see the coolest cars in the world. Massive congratulations to you and your team, to Bugatti itself. A world record breaking car right here. For now, we're out. Love ya. Cheers.
Cheers.